Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you today on the HammondCast show. We're in New York City with one of my very favorite pianists, and he's a great guy, and I'm really happy to have him on the show today. We're here with Roy Meriwether. How you doing today, Roy?
Just fine, John. How you doing?
I'm doing medium well done, you know.
Medium well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all the way well.
Well, you know, I've been listening to your records and checking out your career, and you have a fantastic career, and I'm really honored that you come and do the show with us. And we're broadcasting in the San Francisco Bay Area, but also all over the world on the internet, you know. So
the world is small.
It's getting smaller all the time through technology too, you know.
Yeah.
And I have to say, for all the pianists out there, Roy has a very unique approach to the instrument, and very excellent independence, you know, and a lot of soul, man, you know. And that's we're into soul on our station, because this is the station that brings you a lot of funk, soul, and blues, and you got it all wrapped up in your music, right? And
I got a new CD coming out in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Out of sight.
Yeah, and it's got some stuff I think that would work pretty soulful.
Well,
stuff.
we're definitely going to break it out on our show. And one thing I want to ask you about.
My records are on sale on CD Baby.
All right, we're going to push your internet site, which is roymeriwether.net, and Roy's name.
.biz.
.biz. Yeah. Okay. And Roy's name is spelled with one R, and Weather is WETHER.
Thank you very much for doing that.
So
that's the original spelling in Georgia.
Really?
Meriwether County was spelled that way. Meriwether Lewis. It's only 700 and change white and black Meriwethers in the country.
Wow. So a unique name, but once you hear that name, you never forget it. And once you hear Roy play, you're never going to forget.
Thank you.
And I want to say that Roy and myself, we both came to New York right about the same time in around 1976. And you're from the Buckeye State originally, right?
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio, right on.
Yeah.
So
about 115 miles from Art Tatum's home.
Wow.
Toledo.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what was it that brought you to New York in the first place?
Well, the first thing that brought me to New York was being on. I was lucky enough to get on Columbia Records when I was a teenager. So that brought me to New York, and then I was always fascinated with the city. You know, you kind of have a love-hate or a love-love or whatever you call it. You know, in most cities, because there's things you like, there's things you put up with. You know, New York's one of the greatest cities. I came, and then after that I wrote. Somebody asked me, well, when will I leave Dayton? You know, I said, well, I don't know. I said, maybe I'll write a big piece, and then I just said that. I said, and then I'll leave town. So I wrote the suite, Like Snow.
Wow.
And then that same summer, I said, I want to move to New York.
Well, we want to call attention to the fact that you are a National Endowment of the Arts grant recipient. And
thanks to Cannonball.
Yeah. Oh, really? So it was Cannonball that hooked you up for that?
I was told he was the one that pushed it. He was on the board at that time, and he was the one that really encouraged the board to give me the grant.
Well, that's world-class, prestigious feather in your cap, you know what I mean? And the music is beautiful. We're going to be playing some of the music from your suite that you wrote for the NEA grant, and I'm really happy to have your music on our show. So the story behind that, I want the people to know that this was a commissioned work, you know?
Yes, it was.
Right. Well, that's really beautiful. And the Columbia thing, like, you were saying that when you came out here and started recording with Columbia early on, actually when you were out in the Bay Area at the Trident, that you met Dr. Denny Zeitlin, who was also a Columbia recording artist.
He was at the same time. Yeah, he was on Columbia, and he was doing an incredible Sunday night. And Charlie Hayden was on bass when I first heard him back then. Because I remember him telling me that he was really nervous, he and his wife, about the fact that they had got a new bass player, because that's Charlie Hayden left. And that's when, for the rest of
Charlie's played with so many cats, it's amazing. He's had what a great career. And so when you met Dr. Denny Zeitlin, He's really great pianist. He's been on our show many times too. So
I'm sure.
So
he's such a. I really enjoy his approach. You know, he's just it's so obvious as to how much of an excellent artist he is. You know, and a nice person. He was a very nice person. I remember that as much as I remember his artistry. And his wife was very nice.
Well, I've been very fortunate and lucky to have Dr. Denny Zeitlin on our show a couple of times now, and his music is outstanding. He's had some great piano trios and also a great solo artist too, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So normally do you play in a trio situation? Is that your preferred ensemble?
That's what I wanted to do when I got acquainted with the situation coming out of church. I always liked, you know, the trio situation. I was 17 when I heard, because when you're growing up in a church family, your father's a minister, you don't get as much back in those days variety, and so you see a record by Lionel Hampton and one by Duke Ellington, you know, but you didn't see a whole bunch of different things like you would in other regular families, you know. But I always wanted a piano, bass, and drums. And now, you know what? The funniest thing is, I can't necessarily tell you how I first got my first taste to want that. But it was early on. And I was 16, 17, and I got a job in a club playing. There was a drummer and bass already there, player. Very good. And so I just sat down and started playing, and we kind of liked each other and started from there. But I really can't say when I first got into trio.
Who were the cats on your first recording day?
The guys on the first recording day was the same guys that I had my first nightclub job with. I was a prodigy also. See, when I was 4, I played hotels around the Ohio area. And Joe Arnold and on drums, and a guy named Isaac Sloan on bass. They're both gone now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But Joe Arnold, it is said that Joe Arnold taught the Poinciana beat to Renell Fournier. It was told that ting. Yeah. It was said, you know, but I don't know how true it is. But if you heard Joe Arnold, you can believe that he had rubber wrists.
Wow.
He's just an amazing drummer. He was, you know.
That's great. So what was the title of that album?
The first album was called Soup and Onions.
Oh, Soup and Onions. So we have a couple of different versions of that, so we're going to definitely play Soup and Onions. It's funny, the Onions thing seems to find its way into some titles. Of course, Booker T had Green Onions. You know,
Boy, one of my lasting hit. Green Onions.
That was a huge hit.
To a movie just lately. To some movie just lately.
Right, and then
I would say that onions is probably one of the first ingredients to soul.
Right, and then I recorded my tune "White Onions" with Bernard Purdy. You know.
Oh yeah, White Onions. Huh? I gotta hear that.
Yeah, so everybody slice up those onions out there and be careful of your fingers, man.
Oh yeah.
And so if you're listening to us in the wee hours of the morning, folks, I want to thank you for keeping your dial glued to this spot on the dial. This is where it's all happening, on the AM side of the band. It used to be on the FM side, was the experimental side, but we're going to lay some great music on you here from Roy Meriwether.
Thank you.
And I want to encourage everybody to check out his music on CD Baby and at his very own website, which is roymeriwether.biz, and that's with one R and WETHER. And the name of our radio station is KYOU Radio at 1550 in San Francisco. So what have you got to say in signing off for our listeners on KYOU, Roy?
It was a record that said, "Hey you, listen to KU."